Who here wants to build wealth? I'll just go ahead and put my hand up because I definitely know I want to build wealth, and if you're anything like me, then you definitely want to build wealth as well. So clicking on this video was a really great move because I'll be sharing with you 7 different ways that you can start building your wealth today. But before we actually start looking at those 7 different ways of building wealth, go down into the comments below. Let me know what ways you're actually implementing into your own life to build wealth. Are you investing in property? Are you buying equities? Are you starting a business? Are you side hustling? Or are you just leveling up your career? Just go down in the comments, let me know, and we can continue with the video. So by the end of this video, you will know all 7 different R's that are actually authored by Deville. So those 7 different R's are your rent, your rate, remuneration, replication, returns, rights, as well as royalties. So those are 7 ways that you can actually generate income and build wealth over time. So we'll be looking at those on an individual basis so we can understand what exactly they mean, right? Let's talk about your rate. So your rate is what you charge for selling a product or a service, right? And I think a lot of us are familiar with the influencer space, where influencers are paid a certain amount of money or a certain rate when they actually work with brands on campaigns and so on. The same thing also happens when you are actually selling a piece of clothing or you do nails. You're essentially selling a service or a product and you're getting paid for doing so, right? So that is your first R, which is your rate. Then your second R is your remuneration. And I think most of us, if not all of us, are actually familiar with remuneration, which is essentially what you get paid for doing a job. So that's your monthly salary, right? So if you have a job, you get paid a monthly salary, and that monthly salary is your remuneration. You can use your remuneration to actually build wealth because you can take that money that you're making from your 9 to 5 to actually find something like starting your business or actually investing in the stock market or investing in property. So that is your second R for building wealth. Let me know down below if you actually have these 2 already, or if you only have remuneration or you have your rates. Let me know in the comments. I want to know how many R's you have. Let's move on to your third R, and that is your rent. I think a lot of us are either paying this or are actually receiving payments for this, especially when it comes to the property space. So if you own a property, a vacant property, or a flat, house, or something like that, you can actually rent that out to tenants who actually pay you a rental every single month, right? And remember, you don't have to own property for you to earn rent. So a lot of people rent out a lot of different things. You can rent out your cameras, you can rent out phones, even you can rent out suits, wigs, shoes, guys. You can rent out shoes. So definitely rent is something that is not just limited to property. So that is your third R, right? Let's move on to your fourth R, which is your replication. So the best way I can actually describe or explain replication is when we think about software, right? So if you develop a certain piece of software that other companies want to use, then you actually start making money out of replication, right? So you can think of people who develop games, people who develop security systems. They actually get paid for people replicating their software at some level, right? So that is your replication. And then let's move on to our fifth R. You can even grab a glass of water if you know, because I know my throat is getting a little dry from talking. But anyway, let's move on. We'll keep it moving. Move on to our fifth R, and that is your returns. And I would hope that, especially if you're part of the Small Subsidy Freedom community, or you've been part of the community for a while now, this is something that you should be familiar with. So your returns is what you get for investing in certain things. So if you invest in a share and that share grows to a certain amount, that whatever difference there is between the amount that you put in, the amount that you invested, and the amount that is valued now, that is your return, right? So you can get your return in terms of capital gains, you can get your returns in terms of dividends as well. So that's returns, right? And then we have your royalties. As you saw last year, we had a lot of different authors coming out with books in South Africa in personal finance, in bonus. They even wrote autobiographies. So those guys who are writing the books, those guys are going to be getting royalties. So if you write a book and people buy that book, every single time someone buys that book, you get paid royalties because you have put out a piece of content and that content is being consumed and people are paying for it, and then every time someone pays for it, you are also earning money. So authors get paid royalties the same way as musicians also get paid royalties. If they have an album and they sold that album, they get paid for every single time that album is sold, right? And then finally we have your rights. So when you talk about rights, the best way I can actually think of explaining this is in terms of franchisees. So we have your KFCs, we have your McDonald's. If you wanted to open your own KFC, you'd have to go to the mother company for KFC and say, okay guys, I want to actually open my own KFC. Can you guys give me the rights to actually do so, right? KFC then gives you rights in terms of using their name, their branding, brand association as well, using their menu, their ingredients and all of that to actually start just building your own business off of the back of their own original business. And what happens there is that when you sell at your new KFC, you actually have to pay the original or the parent company a certain amount of money based on maybe your profits and so on each and every month. So that parent company then earns from giving out rights to use your brand. So those are your 7 R's. We have your rate, remuneration, rent, replication, royalties, rights, and returns. So I don't know how many R's that you have right now, but I'm a little relieved because I have more than 2 of those R's, but I definitely do want to keep adding more as I go along in life, because that will really make it easier to just build sustainable wealth over time. But do let me know down in the comments below how many of these R's you have secured in your life, or if there's any R here that you're actually working on acquiring this year. So let me know. I'd love to really know what your goals are, because I like things and I like to be part of your success. But anyway guys, that is all the 7 ways that you can start building your wealth today, and I hope it does help you to actually start implementing it into your own life and you can actually start reaping the benefits. And remember, it does take time for you to actually accumulate all these R's, so don't put pressure on yourself to all of a sudden overnight have all 7 different R's of building wealth in your bag. No, it's not going to happen that way. Give it time, work at it, and it'll definitely happen as you go along. But that's it for me today. Be sure to subscribe. It does help the channel to grow as well. Give this video a like, comment down below with your thoughts. We'd love to engage with you on social media as well. Twitter, Instagram, you can find us on both platforms. But until I see you on my next video, it's bye for now.